But how will Tathata, suchness, occur? By following and accepting hukam, the ultimate law. And what is hukam? The will of God is hukam. To accept and agree with the will of God is Tathata, suchness. So what is the will of God? I have said that the constitution of God, his hukam, has 12 articles. The constitution of India has hundreds of rules. The constitution of God is very simple. The simplest constitution. No country has such a small constitution. The simplest constitution is the constitution of God. Rabindranath Tagore says a lovely thing that Oder Kata Dandha Lage. The constitution made by the priests to reach you appears to be a business. All the paths, whether the path of yoga, the path of darshan, philosophy, all the scriptures are creation of wise people, learned and enlightened people. But their interpretation has been done by the priests. So Tagore is not pointing a finger at the learned people, but at the priests. For instance, the Quran teaches love. The priests have changed it into fanaticism. So, the job of the priest is to reverse what the learned people have stated. Those who reverse whatever the learned people say become priests. The sage, the saint will not reverse it, but the priest will reverse it, says Rabindranath Tagore, Oder Kata Dhanda Lage. The talk of the priest appears to me to be a business, a means of earning. Oder Kata Dhanda Lage, Tomar Kata Ami Bhuji. He says, the Supreme Being's story, your constitution, I can understand. I don't understand even a little bit of what the priests say. Odher kata dhanda lage, tomar kata, ami bhuji, tomar akash, tomar batash. The sky of yours represents you. How in clear words the sky of yours, your wind, the waves in the oceans tell your story without speaking a word. But priests say they speak and tangle it. Darya Sahib says that howsoever the universe's mystery is unraveled, it gets tangled again and again because of the priests. Even here, people understand what I say, and then when they listen to some other speaker or pundit, it gets tangled. But when they listen to a pundit speaking, and they're told, but I have read this in the text of Dharma in this way, and when you untangle it, सुलझाया सुलझे नहीं सुलझ सुलझ उलझाए दरिया कहे लाल जगत क्या कहिए समझाएं. How will you make the lunatic world understand? The matter after understanding gets tangled again. Uder katha danda lage tomar katha ami bhuji tomar akash tomar batash. Despite repeated unraveling, the things get tangled. So understand these 12 articles only. That's it. They will cover all the scriptures and the texts of Dharma. All that has been stated by the wise people will be covered by these 12 laws. The first law is the law of karma. Jo jas kari, so tas pal chaka. Whatever fruits come before you, whatever adverse result comes before you, accept it as it is the result of your own karmas, actions. The Rishi Vedavyas of the Mahabharata says, Sukhasya dukhasya na kadopi data. The giver of the happiness and the sorrow, the convenient and inconvenient, is none other. Paro dadati iti vimud cheta. The foolish, the person ignorant of the ultimate law, the person not acquainted with the hukam thinks that the cause for his adversity is someone else. You yourself have created this chakravyu, this impenetrable circular labyrinth of this cycle, this trap has been created by no one else. You have created it. You say sometimes others give you the sorrow. Yes, it was given because at some time you must have given sorrow to someone. The seeds must have been sown by you. It cannot be that you are not responsible for whatever happiness or sorrow that comes to you. You must have sown the seeds for the crop you're getting. Boya beej babool ka, to aam kahan se hoy? If you sow the seeds of acacia, where will the mangoes come from? So what is the first rule? Whatever result comes, take responsibility, own it. This is my creation which is coming before me today as the fruit. This is the first law. Take responsibility for whatever you're facing in your life, right? What is the second law? The law of independence. We are interdependent. When you take birth, you'll come into a family, you'll come into society, you'll come into some country. So what happens? Guru Amardas says, Maya mamata karate nahi. Within you, there will be Maya, the illusion created by attachments. You may question, why has God given Maya illusion? Everybody has been given Maya illusion. Without attachment, will a mother give birth to a child and nurture it? Whether it is the human world or the animal world? Why will you bring up your child? Because of illusion and attachment. Wherever you may live and whatever things there may be, you will have attachments. If you wish to leave society and go to the forest and live there, then you are going against the ultimate law. Even if you go to the jungle, there too will be a society. I have seen that societies of householders are not as big as the societies of hermits. I was of the opinion that hermits must be living alone in some caves. In Burma too, monks live and they live separately. I saw a large society there. They were having picnics. When we went to take a bath in a waterfall, all those monks had also gathered there. We asked them whether they too enjoyed such things. They said they actually became hermits to enjoy such things, otherwise they would be restricted if within the boundaries of a living in a family. Now they were free and independent. There are large groups of societies of monks, larger than societies of families. Gautam Buddha had a society, a family of 10,000 monks. When an ascetic lives there, he does not remain sitting alone in a cave. Now all the ascetics have mobile phones. They go to one ascetic one day and to the other the next day. Sometimes I used to stay with some sadhus, ascetics. I saw new visitors were coming there daily. No, nowhere else so many visitors came. A new society is being formed, a new affection, a new illusion. You'll not get liberation from Maya. The law of interdependence is we are interdependent. So what to do? Know your role. Comply with your role. If you're a mother, comply with your role towards your children. If you're a husband, then comply with your role towards your wife. And the law of interdependence is to live your life with the awareness of your role. Is it clear? Good. The third law we had discussed was the law of choice. In your life, choice is there. Throughout the day, choices are offered by life. Be aware while taking the decisions. Keep in mind only one thing. That is, go for the lesser evil. Don't go for the greater evil. Every moment, the law of choice keeps on coming. The law of choice is the same for a foolish person or a wise person. The difference is that while a wise person selects the lesser evil, the fool selects the greater evil. Abide by the law of choice, choosing the right articles. Yesterday we had discussed that there are 7 choices. Truth and justice are on the 7th level, the highest level. What is below that? Below that is the word of honor, pledge. Below that is belongingness, and below that is love. What was the belongingness of Ram? Ram's belongingness was that he was responsible for the kingdom. Let us try and understand with some better examples. Yesterday, I had given an example of Krishna, who chose truth and justice and gave lesser importance to his word of honor. Pran jai par vachan na jai. In the same way, Dashrath had given a pledge to Kaikeyi when she had asked for 2 wishes when his life was in danger. What did Dashrath, do? He chose to keep the word of honor. Let the life force go and let it go. Raghukul reet saja chali aayi, pran jaye par vachan na jaye. It has been in the family tradition of Raghu clan to uphold the word of honor, even at the cost of life. In this instance, the word of honor is of higher value. It is a matter of higher value. So the law of choice has to be applied in absolutely the right way. Let us move on to the 4th law, the law of the middle path. Krishna says the middle way is the way of yoga. Samatva yoga chyate. Right? What is the law of the middle way? Ati sarvatra varjayate. Always avoid extremes. Let us suppose you confront a challenge. What are the extremes? To fight is one extreme. What is the other extreme? Flight. To fight or flight, hiding tail like bhag milka bhag. So, one is to take neither a flight nor one has to take a fight. One has to become aware and look for a third option between these two options. First of all, look for something different, the third option. It will be there. It will definitely be there, such as asking some common friends to mediate, to bring a compromise. There is a third option which comes somewhere in the middle of the two extremes. Normally, people will decide to leave and run away from the problem or choose the other option, the option to fight. These are two extremes. But if you observe, you will find that no one basically wants to fight. You are wrong if you think that your enemy, who is stronger than you, wants to fight. He does not want to fight. But he also thinks that there is no other alternative than fighting. You too choose to fight because you think that there is no other option. First, look for an alternative option before you fight. Try that. Krishna also tried. It is not that he wanted the war. तो दे दो केवल 5 ग्राम, रखो अपनी धरती तमाम, हम वही खुशी से खाएंगे, परिजन पर असी ना उठाएंगे, दुर्योधन वह भी ना कर सका, आशीष समाज की ना ले सका, उलटे हरि को बांधने चला, जो था असाध्य साधने चला, जब नाश मनुज पर छाता है, पहले विवेक मर जाता है. Give a try in the first instance. People say if Krishna wanted, he could have stopped the Mahabharata. Yes, he could have stopped. Very true, definitely. But Krishna saw that now it is the Hukam's will that war should take place. Why? Because despite his advice, Duryodhana was determined to fight. Then Krishna understood that now the Hukam wants war to take place. Thus, with full readiness, he joined the war. But before the conflict took place, he wholeheartedly tried to avoid it. Hence, first try to avoid the conflict through the mediation of some common friends or through someone else. In 90% cases, you can avoid conflict. After that, if Hukam, the ultimate law, wants you to go to the temple of justice, as was in the case of Krishna, go to the court. The court is the temple of justice. We will have to go there. Shravan, a disciple of Buddha in the beginning days of his meditation, walked on the side of the road over the stones when others were walking on the footpath or on the road. Buddha said, "Listen, Shravan, you have been a veena player. Will the veena play if its strings are loose?" He said, "No, it won't play." "And what if the string is too tight? Will it play?" He said, "No, the string will break." Life is like that. If you go to the two extremes, either it will break or nothing will happen. So live in the middle. In the same way, while taking decisions, we have to see we don't go to the extremes. If you try and really seek out, you will get the path between extremes, the middle way. Right? Further, an article will come in the 12 articles that Jin khoja tin paiya. Those who seek will find it. What is the law of middle way? All these articles are interconnected. All the laws are connected with the Hukam, the ultimate law. And hence, the 12 laws are interconnected too. Right? Right. The next law is the law of balance. If you go to the extreme, you're not following the articles of the Hukam. Then you cannot go to Tathata, suchness. You're breaking the Hukam, the ultimate law. You can go. You also have the ability. You are very strong and you think the enemy is weak. You'll crush him. Without any reason, you get entangled into petty matters. Then the Hukam will punish you. Many years back, I was going around Dhanbad. A person was sitting on a bench. I was traveling with my family. My children and wife were also there with me. Those days I used to live in Dhanbad. I said, "Brother, get up and make some room for us." He did not say anything. I said, "Brother, get up, make some room for us." He did not say anything and kept lying down on the bench. I said again, "Brother, get up." He did not look at me. I could feel that he was behaving rudely. So I delivered 2 or 3 punches and slaps and asked, "Will you get up now? Won't you?" He said, "Now I have to get up." He said, "You hit me." I said, "Yes, because you deserved it." He said that God is watching. After listening to his words, I realized that the karma bandha, bonded creation by action, had been created. Now I shall have to eat the fruits of this karma bandha, bond created by action. Oh God, I understood that this is to be atoned for sins. God has been involved in this matter. So the earlier the better. The next day I was climbing to the roof of my house. There was no staircase, so I had to climb from a tree to the wall and from the wall into the roof. As I started climbing, I fell down flat on all 4 sides. I said, "Oh, so less and simple. Thank you, God." The hurt I caused to him came a little bit bigger than I expected, but I was happy. Just this much? It wasn't too bad, the karma bandha. So I remember not to go to the extreme unnecessarily, because if we are not abiding by the hukam, the ultimate law, and the hukam's will, then the hukam will punish us. Ati sarvatra varjayate. Always avoid extremes, right? So the 5th law is the law of balance. Life goes by the law of balance. In Osho's life, when Osho Sannyasin went to receive him at the Delhi airport, Osho was welcomed with lots of garlands. While walking along, a disciple who was with Vinod Bharati and was Osho's old acquaintance asked him, "Should there be so much injustice to a person like you? Should a person like you be ousted from 20 countries? Should a yogi like you be insulted so much by the American government?" Osho said, "Definitely, should have been. Definitely. This should have happened exactly like this." The disciple asked, "But why?" Osho said, "Because of you." Disciple said, "Because of me? But I haven't even been to America." Osho said, "My disciples garlanded me with flowers and felicitated me, and then and there I knew that I will be insulted too someday. My disciples gave me so much love, so much respect. Then I knew somewhere same amount of insult was waiting for me. If you are climbing up the pinnacle of a mountain, remember the valley is waiting for you. It is not possible that your journey will be on the pinnacle only. If you have some victory, then the defeats are waiting for you. And if you've had great success, then a failure is waiting for you too. If a failure has been there, a success is waiting somewhere. If you have gone out and have been garlanded by flowers, then when you come home, your wife is waiting for you to unmask you. It shall happen. If you accept the flowers, you will have to accept the thorns as well. This is the law of life. Otherwise, reject the flowers if you want to avoid the thorns. Let me tell you that once a CMPDI, which is a subsidiary company of Coal India Limited, one of my regional directors, a very nice person who liked me a lot, entrusted the maintenance of a building, gave me the responsibility of doing its beautification. I said, all right. It used to be very hot, so there was no AC, so I put cuss shields all around the building and sprinkled water over them. The entire office was full of fragrance in addition, making it cooler. Some of my friends surrounded me and said, "Wow, you've made such a wonderful arrangement that it doesn't feel hot at all and the office is full of fragrance." I told them they were praising me too much. Praise a little less. I knew that the praise will somehow be balanced. My friend said that since I had done a good job, I had not to balance anything. By then, an engineer came, deputy chief engineer. His name was Huck. I still remember the incident and the person. He said, "Oh, so you are here. I've been looking around for you." I asked, "What for?" He said, "Oh, all around the building, cuss curtains have been put. It gets dark. We are unable to do any work. What should we do?" I told the other people had praised the work very much. Hence, I wanted a little more from him. He said, "All the work has been spoiled." I said, "Now it's all right now." Since I had accepted the praise, the criticism was waiting somewhere and it was done. This is called the law of balance. honor and dishonor, victory and defeat, success and failure, praise and condemnation will be received in exact balance. Osho got so many regard, so much respect that he was ousted from 20 countries. Whether a Buddha or a nincompoop, this law is applicable to all. Remember, how many persons have understood the law of balance? Beautiful. Let us go. Let us go ahead. The last law in today's discourse is the law of complementary. The adversity that you see is complementary. The sage, the enlightened person who discovered these 12 articles, his name is Osho. For the first time, he's the one who stated that what is hukam, the ultimate law, gave us 12 laws. Says Tulsidas, Jadate chanaguna doshamai biswa kheen karatar. The Creator has made the universe animate and inanimate. The Creator has made both the things together. If you get one opposite, the opposite of that is waiting for you, right? The law of complementary is that the incidents which appear adverse are not adverse and are in fact complementary. Women and men are completely opposite to each other. Women are different, men are different, but despite being opposite, they are complementary to each other. Just like that the day and night appear quite opposite, but in fact they are complementary. If the day is not there, the night will not be there, and if there is no night, then the day will not be there. The places where night is 6 months long, the day too is 6 months long. They are complementary. In the same way, birth and death look quite opposite, but both are complementary to each other. Life is, death too is. As you see in a film story, if there is a hero, there is a villain too. Though they appear opposite, but if there is no villain, then no story will succeed. If Ravana is removed, what is left in the Ramayana? If you remove Duryodhan from the Mahabharata, there will not be any substance left in the Mahabharata. Why talk of that ancient period? Let us see what is happening in the films being made today. Because the director knows that without a villain, the film is not succeeding. There is a villain. And without the villain, the story will not be successful. In today's world, you'll see in the stories that are written in novels that are written, serials that are made, they have heroes and villains too. Nowadays, you see female adversaries or villains too. In olden times, there were not too many of them. So, what we call the law of complementary is the law of that which complements. It coexists. If you accept a Buddha, you'll have to accept a Baghdadi. If you accept Ram, Ravana too is necessary. If you are accepting Arjun, Krishna, then accepting Duryodhana is also necessary. Normally we agree with Ram, but do not agree with Ravana. You burn Ravana. You accept Krishna, but you forget that according to the law of complementary, if the hukam, the ultimate law, creates a hero, then it will create a villain too. Both have to be accepted. You have to accept both. In fact, the surrender happens in life of one who accepts both. Both have to be accepted together. You are told in Ajapa Samadhi and Shabad Samadhi that both things will coexist in equal proportion. You will face both, and at that time, you're not consumed by complaints. Then that's great. Why did this happen? Why? Because both coexist and both as the illusion or attachment are according to hukam, the ultimate law. The law of complementary too is according to the hukam, and we will have to accept both, the hero and the villain together. We have covered 6 laws and 6 more laws are remaining, and we will discuss them tomorrow and the day after.